Welcome! This is a lecture organized by the Freethinker Institute on the subject of avoiding negativity. The lecturer, Dr Krishnesh Mehta, is the founder of Brainotkarsh, a science and a spirituality specialist, a TEDx speaker, and a yoga expert.
Tonight's event is brought to you by the Freethinker Institute, which is my not-for-profit. My name is Garrett Lang, and we really want to create a warm, open-minded community that helps people in both personal and professional growth to maximize happiness and minimize harm, and really helps each one of us be the best version of ourselves and helps each other so that we can help each other be the best version of ourselves. The link to the online community is in the chat, and we stay in touch and have interesting discussions between our Tuesday evening lecture conversations. I also started something new this time, which I would love feedback on, and I would love for people to participate in. And it's a give and a get, and so you can write down things that you can give and things that you would like, you can sign up for things that other people are giving, or things that you can sign up basically for either the give or the get sides. And so we're just going to test it out, and feel free to take a look at that when time permits. We'll come back to it at the end of the session, but I'll post it in there so that I have a few examples. I might add one or two others if I think of them. And yeah, so with that, I want to kind of kick things off and hand it over to Dr. Krishnesh. And maybe Dr. Krishnesh, if you could do a quick intro of yourself and the topic would be great. Anything else that you want me to do before I hand it off to you, Dr. Krishnesh?
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and morning for those who are in India.
Good evening, good day.
Good evening.
Yeah. So my introduction, I think my work should be my introduction. So anyways, I have a background in physics, in complementary medicine. I have also a management background, MBA. I've also got a design background. I did faculty training, and then I'm also a PhD in cognitive and brain sciences, and also a background in space sciences. So you can see, that's about it. I also am a founder of something called Brainotkarsh, which is an organization, a body, mind, spirit lab, where we do research on how to improve our minds and brains. So with that, shall we start? So I want you to go back in time, maybe a few thousands of years back, when we were all in the jungle, forests. And imagine that you are a male and you've gone out to hunt, and somebody at home is waiting for you. And usually you come back by sunset, but today you have not come back by sunset. What would the person at home or persons at home be thinking?
That you're still hunting?
Still hunting, okay. Suppose it's more time than usual, not just a normal time.
That you got hurt?
You've been attacked by a tiger or a lion or something.
Okay, fine.
You're worried.
Okay, so now come back to our times and say someone close to you, your parents, your children, or whoever, have gone out for a meeting or for a party or whatever, and they told you that they'll be back by 9:30 in the evening, suppose, and it's 10 o'clock and they have not yet come back. What is your first thought?
They might be stuck somewhere.
Okay, they might be stuck somewhere. Now it's 10:30.
Wondering if something happened to them, if they get in an accident.
Agree.
Okay, 11 o'clock.
Okay, wait a minute. Is this 2020 too we're
Yes,
talking
yes,
about?
yes.
Well, then if
COVID.
if this person didn't text you or whatever, contacted you, then something pretty awful may have happened, because it's so easy to communicate this day and age. If if the train is late, or if they're stuck in traffic, they would contact you. But if they didn't contact you, then you could be quite worried something more disastrous could have happened.
Okay. Fine. So if it is, say, 12 o'clock.
I'd be looking at all the hospitals.
Okay, fine. So you got the idea, right? So our brains are wired for negativity. Nobody of you thought when they were late that they might be partying or they might be enjoying. For half an hour, you thought so. But after that, if it is later than that, what happens? Our brains are wired for negativity. And let's take the case of COVID, right? Everyone knows COVID. So a lot of people, when they got, especially in the second wave in India, when they got COVID, especially healthy ones, they thought that, oh, it's normal. It's just cough and cold, just normal flu. So 2-3 days, they delayed getting tested. And by the time they went for a test, they already were too late. And some of them actually lost their lives because of this overconfidence, or because of this positivity. So why our brains are wired for negativity is that it actually helps us in emergency situations. So there is, and in science, we call it negativity bias. So our brains are what is called negativity bias. So while it is negative to have negativity, if you see, it is actually there for us to survive better. Right? I'll keep it interactive, so please feel free to to interact and ask questions in between also. So, this being the case that our brains are wired for negativity, how do you avoid negativity? Okay, and all of you would have faced this, right? So suppose you have an exam tomorrow, or an interview tomorrow, or some important presentation tomorrow. What are your first thoughts?
I'm going to fail.
You're going to fail, or something is going to go wrong, your presentation will not work, or something like that, right? Anxious, anxiety, right? So again, what does that help you? How does that help you? Does it help you?
It does not help you.
It doesn't help you. Okay.
Well, maybe it prepares for consequences.
Yeah. So if you are prepared, or if you know how to deal with these things, then probably it will help you. But if you are not, it will create anxiety, and then you'll get nervous, and probably sometimes you blank out, and so on and so forth, right? So
sometimes it helps me because my brain is wired that if I think something good's going to happen, something bad happens. And if I think something bad's going to happen, something good is going to happen. And I know that is called like mysterious thinking or magical thinking, but I don't know how to get out of that.
Okay. Fine. We'll come to that after some time. Okay. So we're going to do an experiment right away, and I want 3 volunteers.
I'll volunteer.
Okay, so Christine is 1 volunteer. Satya is another. Okay.
I can volunteer.
Okay, and Dhaval is 3rd. Okay, fine. So the experiment is that these 3 of you, Christine, Satya, and Dhaval, when I tell you, you please leave the meeting, okay?
Okay.
For 5 minutes. Okay, I will tell you 5 minutes, and then, so you can keep 5 minutes. When we start, after that 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
And then join back after 5 minutes. I don't think if Garrett has the numbers of these people to remind them if they forget.
I don't.
Okay.
I got to work on
so
doing.
if you can put it on the chat, if you think all these three of you. Okay. Anyways, don't forget. So what we'll do is please leave now and come back in 5 minutes, all three of you. Okay. Or you can just chat, give a number in your chat to Garrett. We are not going to misuse it. Garrett is not going to misuse it. It's just that if you forget, or if you don't want to do that, just remember, come back in 5 minutes. Okay, fine. So thank you. You can leave and come back in 5 minutes. Christine, you're still there? Anyone knows Christine? I hope she understood. Christine, you are still there? We want you to leave.
She may have walked away from her computer, is my guess.
I hope that she's not going to cheat then. Anyways, okay. Okay, fine. So what I want all of you to do now is, at least you saw them for some time, right? So Christine, Dhaval, and Satya. All of us have to think as many negative thoughts as you can about these people. Okay? As many negative thoughts. Especially, no, it can be anything, but especially when I tell them to come back for a minute, I'll tell them to come back. That's when you should be thinking as much negative as possible. Okay, so let's start. About them. You can direct your intention towards them and think negative about them, or negativity.
You want us to write it down or say it out loud?
No, mentally.
Okay.
Don't say anything. Nobody, when they come back, they should not know what you are doing. Okay. So I'll time it for you.
What about if you can't think of anything?
Think general negative thoughts, like they are, I mean, you can remember somebody else who had hurt you and then think about them, project it on them.
Sorry, what is the question, Krishna?
You have to think as many negative things as you can about these people, these three people.
About these three people who we don't know?
Christine, Satya, and Dhaval. They were with us. They left a short while ago. I hope they've left. Christine has left. And anyways.
Dr. Mehta, I'm thinking about this in my head and I'm giggling because now I'm having a hard time thinking negative thoughts. But before I was like, this is easy. Oh, I can be, okay. Wait a minute. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah. So please do it and continue. So think more negative. So all the hurts that you had, you can put onto somebody. Okay. And I want you to do one more thing. And that is, when you are thinking negative, look at your heartbeat, pulse beat, your breathing. How is your breathing? Is it deep or shallow? What happens to your heartbeat? What happens to your head? Do you feel heavy, light, whatever? All these things, just note as you're being negative. And yes, your brain plays very interesting games, especially when it comes, when you tell it to do something, it doesn't do it. So that's normal.
I can't do it.
Yes. Yeah, but anyway, Sanjay, you can think, I'm sure you would have lots of negative things about someone, you can project it on them.
Think about if you have bad parents or something.
Yeah.
If you're mad at your siblings.
Or even you can just repeat the word murder or something like that, whatever. Okay, if it helps.
Lisa, I appreciate your saying that. Dr. Mehta, I appreciate your saying that.
Satya, is it already 5 minutes? I don't think so.
I set a timer. It is 5 minutes now, actually.
Yeah.
4 seconds left.
Okay, fine.
I
Okay,
can come
great.
back in 4 seconds though.
No, fine. Okay, you can stay. So you guys, yeah, Christine, were you there all the time or you're now back?
Nope, I had it on mute. I brought you into a different room, so I have quiet, and I wasn't looking at anything. I was just on mute.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you. So we're just waiting for Dhaval to join, but you guys continue doing what you were told. The rest of you, please continue doing what you were told.
I'm back.
Yes, great. So I'll time it for you. Till that time, please continue doing what you were told, right? All the rest of you.
I'd like to know what you all talked about.
Oh, we'll tell you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Just wait a minute. Wait 5 more minutes because we're going to go out again once more.
Okay, so you want us to go out now?
But no, not. I tell you when.
Okay.
Okay. So while you are here right now, try to observe your breathing. Try to observe how you feel. Try to observe your heart rate, your breathing, whether it's deep or shallow. Your mind, how does it feel? Overall, what is the feeling? And whether your head feels heavy or light. Okay. So just try to observe what you feel, especially your breathing, your heart rate, your pulse, whatever you can measure. If you want to measure your pulse, you can measure that. Okay. So this is to Christine, Satya, and Dhaval. Please try to do these things as you observe yourself and how you feel.
So you want me to tell you all?
No, not right now. You just keep it in your head and just try to feel how you feel. Okay.
Okay.
To just notice it, how you feel. It takes some time to notice. Don't be in a hurry to notice. And rest of you, please continue what you are told to do. Okay. So thank you, Satya, Christine, and Dhaval. We want you to go once more and come back in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So now we know what to do, right? All of you here? You have to think as many positive thoughts about them as possible now. Okay, for 5 minutes. As much positive. So general positivity, if you can't get positive thoughts, which is also quite likely sometimes, then think, repeat some names which are good, or repeat whatever you feel in, or do japa or whatever it is. Japa means you just repeat the name of God or whatever it is. Okay. So do it for 5 minutes with them in mind, with these 3 people in mind.
Learning and
be right back.
Can I come back? Hello?
1 minute left.
1 minute. Oh, okay.
think we finished 5 minutes.
But we have to wait for them to come.
Right.
So Dhaval has come. Satya.
I'm back. Oh.
And Christine is there. Satya is yet to come, I guess. Or is she there?
She is, but she's muted.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay. So you guys continue doing what you were doing, and you three, Christine, Satya, and Dhaval. Again, same thing. Try to observe how you feel, your breathing, your heartbeat, your pulse rate. So do you feel heavy, light? Just try to observe these things. For a time that I'll tell you, I'll time it for you. So
You're great. I didn't put a timer on for the 1 minute.
I'll time it for them because
Great.
I'll have to give the same time I gave them for the first time. So.
Great. On your butt. Just want to say I'm proud of everyone on video. We got almost half the audience.
Okay. So yes. So Satya, Dhaval, and Christine, tell us what happened, what you felt before and after.
I'll go first since no one else is talking.
Yes, please.
You asked us to take our heart. The first time we came back, you told us to ask about the heart, how we felt and things like that, our heart rate. The first time round, my heart rate, I could actually feel my heart pounding in my chest. I think it was because I was a little anxious. I was curious as to what we were going to do, talk about what you guys had been asked of each other. Curiosity, definitely. The second time round, I left. I gave my dog some treats, came back totally calm, heartbeat a lot slower, and now kind of like wanting to know, what are we going to do now?
Oh, yes, thank you. Anything more?
I feel calm.
Okay, fine.
And I'm just fighting with the camera because I've never had to go on Zoom. This is the first time I've had to do anything. Since COVID, I've been busy, never on Zoom.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. Doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Christine, you did amazing.
Thank you. I'm going to mute now.
Yeah, who wants to go on Satya or Dhaval next?
Yeah, it was, I didn't really notice too much. I felt the same both times. I was happy to grab a blanket and some snacks, but I wasn't, I was a little curious, but not overly curious, or I wasn't anxious, just kind of calm.
So what was your feeling the first time? Your breathing, was it deeper, shallower first time and second? What is the difference?
I would say very normal. I wasn't deep, wasn't shallow, just how I'm normally am throughout the day. Same with the second time. I didn't notice a change in my breathing.
Okay, fine. Dhaval?
I'd say for the first one, curious as to why we're leaving. And then the second time, it almost became like a mini habit. And curious what the next step was going to be.
Okay, fine. But so you say that the first time around it was more anxiety kind of a thing, and the second time it was more karma.
Definitely.
Okay, fine. So good. So that's why I keep 3 people, you know, because if somebody is not able to sense, we have 3. So now you know what happened. So we'll tell you what happened. So first time around when you were out, and all people who were doing it yourselves, also you might have noticed how you felt when you were, so first time around when you were out, these guys were thinking negative things about you. And the second time around, when you went out, they were thinking positive things about you. Now, it is very obvious and natural to believe that since the first time you were doing it, it would be anxiety. And so you can change the order if you want, but there's a problem with changing the order. And that is that you'll end with negativity. Then again, we'll have to do one more positivity round. So then we'll waste a lot of time. So that's why we do it this way. But you are open to experiment this on anyone else and try this out. Okay. The point is we are all over the world, probably there are few people from India also. But you can actually transmit negativity. So imagine that if you are living in the same room or the same campus or something, you know how much negativity. So negativity is contagious. Okay. So, and you all also who were doing it, when you were doing it, do you agree that you had a difference in your heart feeling, your breathing rate and so on and so forth, right? So positivity and negativity actually changes your heart rate and your breathing pattern. Especially breathing pattern is more discernible. So if nothing happened to Satya, don't worry. It is just that probably you were so good in so good a mood that probably this negativity did not affect you, and probably you'll become the example of how to stay positive as we go along. Okay, great. So what do you do to remain positive? What do you do to remain positive?
Caffeine.
Anyway, caffeine. Okay. Okay. Anyways, great. So I hope you got the point. Anyone has a questions on this? I mean, it's not a very scientific experiment, as you can understand, but
I wanted to ask whether or not it's been studied scientifically, because I've always sort of felt like, you know, negativity is transmitted, like, you know, in conversations, even like I do text chats sometimes, and you know, on the online community, we do text chats, and you can pick up people's emotions sometimes just from that. And, you know, I don't know, I feel like I pick up emotions a lot in conversations, you know, more verbally and more in person, but even through text. And I'm curious whether or not, like, you know, this was not even with any of those, right? It was just thoughts. And so has that been studied like scientifically?
So I personally have done it. I've done it over a huge number of groups, initially in person, but now of late, because of COVID, online also, and it always works. What you can do is you can actually have instruments to measure. You can actually take your BP, blood pressure levels. You can measure your pulse rates and so on and so forth. Even there's something called heart rate variability. You can measure that also. And it has been found, what I found is that it does affect, which means that it is very, sorry, somebody is asking.
Go ahead, Dr. Krishnesh. I think they didn't mean
okay, fine, sorry. Okay, so it does work, and there are experiments. So there's a book called Field, the intention experiment, and many such experiments, especially done by the Noetic Sciences, the Institute of Noetic Sciences. You can look up research on that. Dean Redden and the group.
I have a question.
If anyone is,
yes. The negativity, the positivity can also be transmitted.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
So both.
Yes.
But as I told you, our brains are wired for negativity, right?
You know what? Go ahead, sorry.
No, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Christine, you were first.
You did say that, yes, we are programmed for negativity, but I do believe that there is such a thing as vibes going through, and that's where the positive can, like if you give a person a hug and you give them your positive energy, you can transmit that to them just as much as you can transmit negativity.
Yes, precisely. That's what, because
sorry, we got another troll.
Second time around, we we did positivity, right? We passed positivity also. So both get passed. It's just that most of us think negatively most of the time. So now imagine if you are a boss of a company, because a lot of people think negative about you, or anywhere where you are heading things, or maybe in a family also, if somebody is thinking negative, mostly negative because our brain is negativity bias, chances are that you are picking up those things, unless you are like Satya with caffeine or whatever. But we'll find out whether caffeine works or not, or how much it works, in some time as we go along. But basically, yes. So it is always possible to overcome these vibes, if you want to call it vibes. But by and large, most of us are not able to. So we also get affected by others' negativity, not only others in your house, but others in your town, probably others in your country or whatever it is, right? So it does affect long term, long distance also. Okay, so if I have proved this, if anyone has questions on that, otherwise I'll move on.
Dr. Mehta, I wanted to say, and I think what I've noticed is when I've gone through negativity or even anger, I have to notice my impact, but I also try to look at what the underlying emotion is, right? That under the negativity can be hurt. So what is the hurt telling me? And I've noticed that it fizzles. I've been removing addictive substances, right? Don't take caffeine. I flatline my behavior, working on proper rest and everything. And what's happening is I'm surrounding myself with positive people that dress better, that are professional. You talked about leaders in a campus situation. I model what the deans are doing, the presidents are doing, and they're all positive. They're very centered, very positive. And I'm taking notes, and I also get a massage, and the massage helps me to feel positive and find out what the elated sense is, like a relaxed state. So I lock that into my physiology, and I'm moving towards gratitude first. But it is taking some work. I'm noticing that I'm just accepting, because I want to know the reality of a situation at that time. And then I realized I can still control my emotions. And it really, it's like I can let go, and just... Anyway, I just want to say.
Toolbox then.
Great. So
actually, which is great.
Sorry, please carry on.
He has a toolbox that he's using.
Yes, precisely.
And
so something that I was going to
come in and learn tools also to help us.
Yes, precisely. So at least he has given his tools, and all of you can use them, and I'm going to give you some more as we go along. But anyways, so one very important thing about our brain is, why negativity stays or seems to stay longer is our brains give more attention to things negative. So if something bad has happened to us, we linger on it a little longer. Have you noticed? If you're noticed. So what happens? Anything that lingers in your brain becomes more stronger in terms of brain connectivity, and therefore it lasts that much longer. And if I tell you to recall any good, happy event or a negative event from your life, just recall, you would observe that these memories that you have are actually more multisensory. So the more deeper the event, more deeply touching that event was, positive or negative, the more multisensory it was. That means you feel not only you remember how you felt, but even, your smells there, maybe the sounds there, the touch there, and so on and so forth. Do you agree with this? Just try to recall some of your events, positive or negative, or both.
I find that fragrance, scent,
yes,
back a lot of memories.
Yeah, so whatever, it will be multisensory. And therefore, if you see, in almost all cultures, most strongly so in India, but almost all cultures, every so-called passages of rites of passage, or basically events like marriage, birth, they have some induced emotional as well as multisensory rituals to it. Yeah, for example, in death or at birth, there are certain rituals. I don't know how much rituals are there at birth in US, but at least in India, they have some rituals around it, which has multisensory things. So when you marry, there is some rituals which also are multisensory, and so on and so forth. So don't forget that you married and so on. Okay. Basically, our memories have to be made stronger because our brain is a default negative bias brain. It will linger more on negativity. And so one of the first tools for becoming positive is to linger more on the positive event when it is happening. Even a 5-second lingering of even a 5-second just kind of absorbing that positivity would help you create a good memory, which will then counter your negativity memory also. But it will not always work, but mostly it has been shown to work. And there's some research on this also. Okay, fine. So what I was trying to say is that basically we feel negative and negativity can be passed on, but there are tools to overcome it. But let's understand where negativity comes from. Why do you feel negative?
Dr. Mehta, I don't,
yes.
If I could say, I notice for me, there's sometimes an unfairness, like that I got a raw deal or something, that things, but I look at my choices too along the way and I accept responsibilities because that's all I can do. But there's a feeling times that it could have been another way or should have been. And then I realized, no, it was what it was. And I think that acceptance is allowing me to just appreciate the moment. Like I'm able to let go and just enjoy wherever I am. I am grateful for everything. And I want to make sure I'm coming across that way. So I'm focused now, as I get the stuff cleared up, I can focus and have that social influence and finding what, it's the gratitude. I don't want to miss out on life.
Yeah, great. So what happens is that you have learned to cope with it, right? So it is a coping mechanism that you've developed. But unfortunately, everyone is not able to cope. Okay, and the reason is, so therefore, why does negativity come into our life, or what makes us want to be negative? So one is you have some expectations and you want those expectations to come true as you expect. Okay, for example, if I have an exam or if I have a presentation or whatever, I want it to go good.
Krishna wanted to.
Oh, I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
Is it because the brain is constantly measuring?
Yes. So what the brain does, right? So whenever you interact with anyone, brain has only two things, very simple: friend or foe, good or bad, negative or positive. Okay, so it is just sensing that. Okay, sometimes, suppose you've had a bad experience with someone, the very face of that person or the very sight of that person will bring in negativity. You might be really happy, but just by looking at them, you'll feel negativity, isn't it? And all these, remember, there's recent science which says that all emotions are actually learned. You know what that means? That as we grow along, we have learned from environmental cues or from our surroundings that, oh, if somebody has died, therefore I have to feel sad. Oh, somebody has got married, or somebody is positive, has become as one.
Do this one.
So I have to be positive. Okay, so all the emotions are actually learned, which means that you can unlearn what you have wrongly learned and then relearn how to emote next time around. Okay, anyways, but we're still on what creates negativity. Okay, so one is this expectations. What else? The other thing is something called, we are reward conscious. So I'll give you an example. So they had done this study on on chimps. So I think it was done in US. So primatologists, they started teaching chimpanzees to paint. Okay, so they started doing good painting. And as we humans are wired, right? So they thought that if we train them, they'll do good painting. So they started doing good painting. And after some time, they found that they were doing wonderful painting. Okay, so one more thing, as we think in corporate world, that now we should give them rewards. If we give them rewards, they will do even better. Yes, normal thinking. So now they started giving the chimps the reward, and the reward would be a banana or something. So what would have happened after some time?
They will probably just expect the banana and not do anything for it.
Yes. So what started happening is their painting quality dropped, and they, on the contrary, started waiting for the banana to come. When is the reward coming? When is the reward coming? Is it coming, not coming? So their focus got distracted from work to reward. And if you look at it, whenever we engage in anything, we are more reward conscious than work conscious. Does it make sense? Even while we are working, we are still thinking, what if I fail? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if it doesn't work? Sorry, yes, please.
You're saying that we are work for rewards? Is that how you say our brain functions?
I don't know. We don't see that. That is a training given to the brain that if you do something, you're going to get a reward, or at the end of work, you'll get some reward.
Yeah, you get paid.
Yes. So what happens is after that learning, now we have become like that Pavlovian dogs. We start waiting for the reward and not the work. Okay, so now we just wait for the reward. It is a training against the learning that has happened. Right or wrong, I'm not saying. What I'm saying is that our brains, because see, society will not look at how much hard work you did. They'll see whether you won or not. Okay, whether you got a job or not, whether the job was applauded or not, and so on. So what has happened in our brain, the reward has become more important than the work. I'm not saying this might be true for everyone. Some of you might have learned how to do it properly, but I'm just saying that this is how the brain works. So we tend to become more reward conscious than work conscious. Okay, and that also leads to negativity, because while we are working, we are anxious of what if I fail? What if I lose? What if I, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'll give you a classic example. So there's a person called Geet Shetty. He's a world billiards champion. He's an Indian, but he narrates this story that one of his competitors, he was an Indonesian, I'm forgetting his name for now. So he was in a game, he was in the final of the billiards game. And the reward monies was a huge amount in those days. And this is about 1980 or something. So it was around 1 lakh pounds or something. That was the reward. So he had already planned that once I get this reward, I'll make a home for my mother, and so on and so forth. So when he was playing, while he was playing, initially he was winning, but this thought used to keep coming to him. He got distracted and finally he lost. Okay, the point is sometimes our reward consciousness would not let us focus on the work, so much so that we may lose the quality of our work, or we may reduce the quality of our work because we are interested in the reward. Make sense? Or you have any other? Okay. So this is very important. So what is another very important thing is be work conscious, not reward conscious. Now it's very easy to say this, but we'll learn how to do that. But this is what you should remember. Okay. And one of the simplest things, especially, so as we did this exercise on negativity, positivity, right? If you notice, your breathing when you were happy or positive would be deeper. Okay, and you'll feel more expansive also, expanded, expansive. So whenever you feel negative or you're becoming anxious, try to breathe deep and try to feel expansive. Okay, this is a kind of a hack if you want to call it. But anyways, this is one thing. The third thing that makes us negative is that we all, while we were growing up, were told that you are in a competitive world and you have to win. I don't know if any parents teach us to enjoy failure or to actually celebrate failure. Okay, most of us are taught to celebrate success, not failure, isn't it? And so what happens, again, we have grown that so our brains get wired for winning, and losing is something that leads to negativity. I'm not good, or I am a failure, and so on and so forth. Okay. So, and we compare also, right? So, oh, this fellow, say in job conditions also, this fellow is doing nothing. That's what you think, but he's getting more salary than me. Okay. Or this fellow did not study, but still getting more marks than me, and so on and so forth. Okay. That person might be learning in 1 hour what you may take 10 hours to learn, and so on and so forth, right? So, but this is all competitive. So we've been, and another thing also, right? So again, see how training works. So when you were young as kids, supposing if something hurt, suppose you fell on the floor, what is a normal thing we tell them to do once the floor hurts you?
You say, ouch.
Ouch. That's okay. But what do you tell them? Kids, young kids, they start crying.
Get back up.
I kiss it and make it better, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's you doing it. But what do you normally, what do you tell your kids? That, normally, I mean, so if something has hurt them, what do you tell them to do?
They'll get better.
No, so you get better. So how, what? So normally you tell them not to hit back or something, isn't it? You kind of, compensate the hurt that thing gave to you by giving back hurt, isn't it? Yes or no? Think about it. So this is another thing. We have learned to be tit for tat, or rather, hurt back for hurting back or something like that. So give back. So it is always, we want to, if suppose you've been hurt by someone, we want to get back to them. We want to, so that is also what leads to negativity. If you look at our belief systems also, which normally come from cultural things or films and so on and so forth, the hero is always going to win in the film. In the end, maybe after a lot of hardships, but in the end, the hero always wins. So we think that we have to always win. Okay, so all these things actually put us into a mindset which says that if you don't win, you are useless. If you don't get success, you are useless, and so on and so forth. So all these things lead us to be more reward conscious than work conscious. Make sense?
It does, Dr. Krishnesh, but I'm very conscious to tell my daughters, it doesn't matter who wins. All that matters is that you try your hardest. And that's,
yes.
I just posted in the online community my paper on self-worth, which is basically, if you try your hardest to do the right thing, you should be happy with where you are, like regardless of where you land.
Yes, that is what is called new age parenting, and I congratulate you for that. So please, everyone should be doing that. But unfortunately, probably most of us may not have gone through that kind of parenting, right? So I'm not blaming the parents. I'm just saying that, unfortunately. Okay. Then another thing. Sorry?
I have a question. It might be a little off from what we're talking
please.
about.
No problem. Nothing is off here.
Like, and I talked to this life coach the other day, and such a high, like a really empowering piece. And then I went and talked to my friend and her husband, telling them about this. And he put down, what is his credentials, and just down. And I went from being up there all the way down, and I get that negativity out of, I couldn't get back up to that place where I was. Like, I tried to just say, you know what, Pete's not important, don't listen to him. But it's so hard to keep yourself into that positive place when somebody just brings you down to that place.
Yes. So that is again how the brain is wired, right? So we are going to learn to overcome that. But so this is what, so I was going to use the word life coach very soon. So if you see what do life coaches do also, most of the life coaches also tell us of, no, oh, you're earning so much. No, you should earn so much. You would be able to earn so much. Oh, you're unhealthy. You can be healthy. They make you feel sometimes a little bad about yourself so that they can sell themselves. Okay. I'm not, so this is another reason why a lot of us feel, oh, I need this. I need to gear up. So the point that I'm trying to make is, it is very difficult for us to accept ourselves, or as you mentioned, Lisa, in your case, to accept your beliefs or your feelings about someone. And our feelings about someone are so shallow that if somebody says something negative about them, they drop, right? So think about it. Again, because I told you negativity bias. So our brain would listen to negativity first, then a positivity. Okay. Suppose the reverse had happened. Suppose you had felt negative about that person and your friend told you positive about that person. What would have happened? You're mute, Lisa.
Then I'm positive about that person.
But it would not have been as strong as your negative thing. You can try this out. Okay. So as I told you, our brains will go from negative first. Oh, somebody, see, that's how gossip works, you know. All of us do gossip. And, oh, this one is like, oh, I didn't know this, and so on. Okay, so now, not only life coaches, but you have blogs and so many, I mean, you know, right? So all these feeds that we get are actually almost making us feel not to accept ourselves. And that is also what leads us to negativity. Clear? But let us remember one thing. So now, let us take something. So when you do something, you know, suppose you are planning to join a job or do a presentation. Whenever you try to do anything, there are only 4 possible outcomes. 4 possible outcomes. Okay. Can you guess which 4? Four possible outcomes. So suppose I'm looking for a job, I get the job. So that means I get equal to what I was looking for. Or I don't get a job, so I get less than what I was looking for. Okay. Or maybe I was looking for a job, but the person or the CEO of the company was so impressed by me that he said, no, don't join me, become a partner with me. So you got more than what you were expecting. Okay. And so you get equal, more, or less. And what is the 4th? Something totally unexpected. So opposite. For example, you were going for the job interview and you met with an accident and you landed up in a hospital. It can be positive also, but I mean, so unexpected, that's the point. So you get more or less, equal, or unexpected. So anything that you try to do in life, there are only 4 possible outcomes, which are equal, more, less, or unexpected. And what you need to do is to learn to be comfortable with any outcome, no matter how hard you've tried. It sounds easy, but it's not going to be easy to do that. But I'm going to give you very simple methods, tools shortly. But for now, have you understood this much? Any questions so far?
I heard, Dr. Mehta, and I don't know if anyone else came across the research, to rewire the brain. It takes 66 days, and I read other research that says 364 days. What I've noticed is how much I have to be appreciative for, how grateful I am to other people. So even if I have like a hissy fit or if I feel down, it's really short. I'm removing barriers to not have resistance to cover up things. And so I'm allowing myself to process what I'm feeling, validate it, but realize that I'm not the feeling. I allow it to go through, but I have to look at the impact I'm having. And then I heard a speaker today in the morning. She said, there was some training. She says, do you want to use this moment now for that, or do you want to build your dreams? And so it's this rewiring, and it's becoming easier to catch it. And I love what you said about the 4. I don't know if anybody else has had that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So these are the 4 outcomes that we get, and how we respond to that or how we react to that will decide what kind of positive negativity we would have. And yes, you are right. Our brains take anywhere from 21 days to 284 or more than 364 days also. So anywhere from 21 to 364 or more, depending on how deep the rewiring is required or rewiring needs to be done. But technically it is said that 21 to 284 days is what it takes for you to rewire your brain. Again, depending on the intensity of the change that you want to achieve. But yes, our brains are plastic and they can be changed, and you can dictate to the brain how it gets wired. And a very simple rule for the brain is where your attention goes, neural firing flows and neural connectivity grows. Okay, so that means it is in your hands totally to create a neural connectivity of the type you want. And that is why, if you look at it, overcoming negativity is about overcoming the perceptions that we carry, how we look at things. If we just change the way we look at things, that will rewire our brain to then look at it differently. All so far what I've been saying is, it's how we have been brought up to look at things. Therefore, this perception has become a problem. So all we need to do is change it, right? Change that perception. And if we can change that perception, and that change of perception rewiring can take anywhere from 21 to 84 days. But we can get help by doing certain things physiologically, which I'll tell you. Okay. So one more important thing that you have to understand is that a lot of us want to be like Gates and Jobs and Bezos and all that, Buffett's and all that, right? Elon Musk and so on. But remember, they are exceptions, not norms. And remember, they were luckily at the right time, at the right place. And in hindsight, they say, oh, I did all this to become successful or whatever it is. Right? While they were doing it, they did not know that they were going to become successful as they became. So a lot of us and a lot of media and a lot of books are written on successful people. So we also think that, oh, I am not like that person. I should be like that person. Okay, so all these also brings in a kind of a gap in us, which also makes us. So I want to define success slightly differently. And that would be that success, I read it in some novel, success is a measure of how you deal with failures. Is the measure of your ability to deal with failures. Okay, so success is a measure of your ability to deal with failures. You might be great, but if you can't deal with failures, because all your life you've been lucky to get positive things, doesn't mean you're successful. Look, anyway, so keep looking at it. So we'll do one more small experiment now. Okay. So try to now imagine a situation where you felt negative about someone or something. Just try to relive in your mind. And while you are doing that, try to see whether it was a close-up scene or a far-off scene, whether it was multisensory or less sensory, and what happens to your breathing. Just take a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes to do it. Just try to recall a negative event or something, negative experience, and see how you feel. And are you seeing it in close up or far, zoom out, or? Okay, done. So what was it? Okay, before we do that, let's now think of a positive event also. And again, see what is your breathing and was it close up, zoom out, whatever it is. So just try to think of a positive thing for a minute and see what happens. Watch your breathing. Again, is it multisensory and whether it's close up or far off. Done? So what's the difference?
They are complete opposites.
Yeah, what? In what way?
Say again?
Yeah, in what way? In what way?
My first one was a lot of sadness with the negative one, on fear, what would happen, what if. And then the other one with the positive was joy, lighthearted. I felt carefree and like I was almost floating.
Okay. Others, anyone? You didn't mention whether it was zoom in or zoom out.
I'm not quite sure what you mean about zoom in or zoom out.
Means did you, if it was an event that was happening in front of you, then did you see it close by, nearby, in kind of, zoom in, or did you look at it zoomed out?
I actually went back to the experience.
But while you were doing that, when you were imagining in your mind, did it seem happening at a close by distance or a far off distance?
I would think I was looking down at it.
Okay. Both times.
I'm sorry?
Both times, positive and negative?
Okay, both times. I was looking at the situation.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think the first one for me was zoomed in, and then the second was zoomed out. First one, like faster heart rate and, shallow breathing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Your caffeine is not working now. Sorry.
No, it's not. Thank you.
It's a little late. I hope your caffeine's not working. You're not going to sleep very well.
No, okay, sorry.
That reminds me, I need to get a refill. I'm at Starbucks in a little bit.
Oh my gosh. If I drank caffeine right now, I'd be awake all night.
See, okay. So I'm sorry. I just try to make it light. So anyways, so please don't mind it. Yeah. So see, what happens is that normally when you look at negative things, you look at it more zoomed in, more closer by. And like positive things, we look at it slightly distant, slightly zoomed out, right? And that also tells you how the brain functions, right? So because I told you, because we have lingered on negativity more than positivity, that lingering will cause our brains to bring it close as compared to positive, where we have not done this enough lingering for it to become closer. So very important that from now onwards, the simplest way is celebrate or linger on your positives for at least 5 seconds or more. Okay, whenever you experience that event or whatever it is. Fine. We'll do one more experiment now. So that same event that all of you did right now, the negative event, recall this negative event, but this time you're going to breathe deep. You're going to look at it from a distance. Okay, you're trying to make your heartbeat slower. Okay, so just do for a minute. Just recall that bad event, a negative event, which caused negatives to you physiologically. Now try to kind of replicate the positivity feelings or breathing patterns and all that while thinking of that negative thing. Am I clear? Yeah. So do it for a minute. Okay, Beth, I'll tell you what you do. What you have to do is you just thought of some event, right? Negative event. So now you think of the negative event, but start breathing deeply. You consciously breathe deeply. Take deep breaths, feel positive, try to reduce your heartbeat or whatever. And when you deep breathe, your heartbeat would reduce anyways. Okay. So got it? And try to look at it from a distance rather than from zoomed in. Okay. So do it for a minute and see how you feel about that negative thing. Done? So now what happens to your feeling of negativity?
I felt more disconnected from it.
Yes. Okay. I mean, we are doing it in a very short time, but if you do it for about 5 minutes each, you will feel that it does have an impact on you, and then your negativity reduces. Try it out. So next time around, when you recall a negative event, you can just change it. Or so when you're feeling anxious about something, try to do this, feel the positivity, start breathing deeply, and you will change the way you feel. Okay. I hope you got this tool. But there's one more, which is what you're going to do. So if you have paper and pencils on you, or pen or whatever on you.
Google Sheet work.
Is everyone having some paper and pen on you? Or you can get, we're going to do some experiment. Okay, so one more. And then I'll show you how it works. So I'll be telling you a story, but in a moment. But before that, everyone with paper and pencil ready? Okay. So now what I want you to do is draw anything that you like. You don't have to be a great drawing person or something. Just draw whatever comes to your mind spontaneously.
Dr. Mehta, could you repeat that again?
You just draw anything that you want, whatever comes to your mind. I hope I'm audible fine. Is it okay?
Sure. Yeah, we can hear you.
So done? Okay. Just mark it that this was the first drawing that you did, so that you remember this was the first one. Okay. Fine, done. I mean, if some of you are still drawing, fine, finish it. I don't want to hurry you up. But done? Otherwise? Okay. So I'll tell you a story now. Okay. It's a real story that happened. So I don't know if anyone knows that about this book called Autobiography of a Yogi. Have you heard of it? Okay.
Don't know it.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, so the author of it, Paramahansa Yogananda, spent around 35 years of his life in US. Okay. So this story is related to him. So what happened is he wanted his guru, you know guru, right? His preceptor or whatever. So he wanted to get a painting of his, this is in early 1920s and 30s. So the camera or the photography was not that well developed. So he wanted painting of his guru to be made. Now his guru was a very strange person. So he was very emotional and very soft, but he had a very hard feeling on his face, you know. So, I mean, if you look at him, you'll be afraid, but he was very soft at heart and so on and so forth. So he wanted to capture that kind of a feeling in the painting for the painting to be made. So he puts an advertisement in the newspapers and wherever all for the best of the painters. So then people apply, and then off the applications, he chooses one of the best painter according to him. And he tells the painter that this is what I want to get drawn. And this painter is a famous painter in US. So he's told that you have to draw this kind of a painting. I want to get this emotion. So the painter starts drawing, he paints it, and then shows to Yogananda. And Yogananda, no, this is not quite right. You know, I still want that. It's missing. It's not the way I want. So he redraws it. Again, he shows. Again, Yogananda says, no, it's not good. It's like something is missing, you know. He does it third time. And again, he shows. Again, Yogananda says, no, not quite. Something missing, something missing. Okay. Fourth time, he draws. Again, he says something missing. So what happens the fifth time around? He says, he just throws the painting on him and says, if you can draw better, draw it yourself. You have chosen me. I am the best painter in the US. And you are not able to accept my painting. Draw it yourself. So Yogananda took the challenge. He said, okay, I've never ever sketched. I'm not good at drawing, but I will try to draw. And he makes the painting. And that very painter agrees that the painting was better than what he had done. So now he was intrigued. How could you do this? How could you paint so well? And the answer is what is important. And this is going to help us as a hack for negativity. What he answers is, this particular painter was a painter for almost 20, 30 years. So he said it has taken you 20, 30 years to become a painter, and still you're not convinced yourself that you can paint. It took me a second to convince myself I can paint, and I did it. Okay. So now what we are going to do is, now you will mentally repeat to yourself that I am a good painter. I can paint very well. I can draw very well, and make another drawing. It can be the same or a separate drawing. And please make another drawing now. Okay. I hope you got it, what you have to do. So mentally repeat to yourself that I am a good painter. I can paint very well. I can do it very well. I'm a good painter. I'm a good drawing person, or whatever you want to call it. Now draw it again. Anything. Okay, done? You can take your time. I'm not trying to hurry you up.
Yeah, done.
Okay. Others done?
Also,
Now you know, okay, so now you can show it if some of you are bold enough, both the ones. Yeah, and somebody should, so others should tell which one is which,
I'm
or
going to do
which one
this
is.
to make everybody else feel better about themselves. So this is my first drawing of my family, and I like to draw little trees. You could have asked me to pretend that I was a good surgeon and go into surgery, and I would have been happier than drawing. It's absolutely my worst skill. And this is my self-confident drawing. So now if I can show that, everybody else can show whatever they did.
I'm willing to share.
That's Van Gogh in comparison. Thank you.
Okay, so you found, yeah, okay, great. Okay, so I think everyone knows your before and after, right? So in the after, you started doing more detailing, your line quality improved. Okay, am I right? All of you agree with that?
It flowed more, it was smoother.
It flowed more, it was more smoother, yes, yeah. So this is precisely, there's a Harvard study on this. So be it creativity, be it anything, be it surgery also, Garrett. Only thing you're not licensed to do that, otherwise you can do that also.
I won't venture that one. Just like I won't try to be an artist either. So
no,
I
but
don't think I would go to you for my surgery.
No, please don't. Please don't. Don't worry.
No, but you won't be.
If you want software developed, I can help you there. I'm good at that. But you want innovative software,
licensed.
I'm even better at that. But don't ask me to do surgery or drawings.
No, he won't be licensed. But anyways, let me tell you, even surgeons for that matter do this. Okay, it's not easy to do surgery, and they have to convince themselves that they can do it. So on for any other profession. Okay. So what the study says is that if you can convince yourself that you can do it, then things would flow easily for you. You'll have less anxiety, less negativity, and you will become more better at work. So for example, I want to be creative. I just repeat to myself that I'm creative. I'll be able to come out with creative outcomes, which are really creative. And you will find that you would do better than otherwise. Don't believe me, this is a study. You try it for yourself, and that's why I wanted to prove to you, and therefore you would all agree that your drawing second time was better than the first time in terms of everything, right? So we need to convince ourselves about what we are doing. Many a times we lead to negative because we think we are not good enough or we are lacking somewhere. If you look at it, nobody is perfect and nobody can be perfect. If you look at Google now, if you just type one word, there'll be 1 lakh or 1 million or more, different pages that show up. No one person can know even one word fully. Now you understand how. So its perfection is out. But what you can do is you can convince yourself about what you can do. And if you can operate from this conviction, then your outcome would be better. For example, singing or dancing or whatever, right? If you can just convince yourself, I can sing, I can dance, you'll see that your singing changes, your dancing changes, whatever it is changes. Don't believe me, try it out, okay? And it takes hardly a few minutes of conviction to your brain, okay? And just to show you that how conviction works, how the thought works on our minds, we'll do one more small experiment, okay? Game for it? I've been doing a lot of experiments today. I hope you don't mind it. Maybe you thought I'll be talking a lot, but anyways. So I want you to align your hands in line with this wrist lines that you have, okay? And do a namaste, okay, something like this. And see that all your lines are matching, all these lines are matching. So they're all aligned properly. Yeah, I mean, you have to see. Fine, all of you aligned, okay? Now look at your second finger, the longest finger, this one. Okay, if it is aligned, some of you might find that one of your finger is longer than the other. But for some, it might be both equal, no matter. I'll tell you what to do. But for some, one is longer and one is shorter. And for some, both would be equal. So whatever the case, anyone with equals? Okay, Garrett, is it equal? Okay, fine. Okay, rest of you have one small, one longer, right? So now what you have to do is mentally repeat to yourself that the finger which is shorter will become longer. Okay, and for Garrett, you can choose any one finger. So those who have got both equal, you can choose any one finger. But for those who have got one shorter, one longer, think of the finger which is shorter and try to make, and think mentally to yourself 3 times that it's going to get longer. Okay. Once you do it, just take your hands away. and just concentrate on the finger that has to get longer. Just be aware of the finger that has to get longer. For a minute, and I'll time it for you. Just be aware of the finger which has to get longer. You can remove your hands, Sanjay. Just be aware of the finger that has to get longer. Okay, you can now recheck. Please align properly and see what happens.
Definitely got longer.
Sorry?
It definitely got longer. The one that I was thinking of to go longer.
It did become, so all of you? Yeah, it became longer, right?
No cabbies.
How is this possible, right? You might think. That's how the brain works. Just a little attention and you can, and in fact, this technique you can use to even reduce weight or remove tumors and whatever, all heal also, okay, any kind of healing. Of course, it will not happen in 1 minute. You have to then do it. You have to have the ability to focus on that thing for 5 minutes or more, then it will work. But I know of people who have reduced their waistlines and all that, or keep it intact just by doing this technique. So you don't need to exercise. Anyways, the point is that you can actually alter your physiology just by thought, mind over matter, right?
Dr. Mehta, Patricia had I think has a question. Yes. No? Oh, okay, sorry. She just has her hands up. Okay.
Yeah, yes, say whatever you want to say, please, Patricia. Okay, fine.
It was a mistake. I'm sorry.
Okay, no
okay, fine. Okay, no problem. No problem. Okay.
I have something to say.
Yes, please.
I know that when I was 20, I had Hodgkin's disease, and I used to, at that time, asteroids was a big game, and so I used to mentally pretend that asteroids was in my body, and I would shoot at all the cells in my body. It kind of sounds stupid, but killing all the bad cells, cancer cells in my point, I had a sick cancer, and I went into remission and have been in remission with Hodgkin's then.
Wow. Great. So that is how mind over matter is. Perfect. Great. Yeah. So you are actually living it. We are just talking about it, but you're living it. Great. Okay. So it is possible, right? So mind over matter. So what you allow the mind to think, it will create that kind of a world for you. Okay. So all that I did was so far, if you can work with your mind and change your perception, I can do it, or increase your positivity. How to increase your positivity is by lingering on it, lingering on a positive event for long enough. Okay. But I'll teach you some small other techniques also to overcome negativity. So one very important thing is your posture. Or as Sanjay said in the very beginning, right? How you feel. Most of the times our postures are kind of negativity postures. We are not upright. We therefore feel more negative. So immediately, if you want to change your negativity, feel your posture. Make straighten, body straight, chest out kind of thing. You have to feel, what a good posture is, right? So keep your spine straight, very important, okay? Another thing is deep breathe. So breathing deeply helps. If you do regular breathing of 5 minutes, deep breathing, it will become a habit for you. Okay. So deep breathing also. So whenever you feel negative, start breathing deeply. But I'm going to tell you some fun thing, and which is very interesting for you. I don't know if you do this, but try doing this. Whenever you are in a bout of negativity, whenever you feel really negative about things, life is unfair and whatever all that you feel, go to your room in your privacy, okay? Put on any music you like and start dancing. Okay, whatever dance, whether you know or not, you don't have to be a good dancer. You say, I can dance, and I'll start dancing, whatever dance you like. Do this for half an hour every day and see what happens. Your negativities cannot stay. So physical movement is important for removing negativity. Okay. And when I said posture, sorry, I forgot to tell you, little smile on your face also goes better with a good posture. So that also would help you better. Okay. Clear? And one very important thing that I'm going to teach you today is how to get caffeine without having caffeine. Okay. So all that I want you to do is you have to breathe in deeply and make a sound of the NG of king. Okay. Got it? If I say king, the NG of the king. Okay, so breathe in, and when you breathe out, okay, as long as you breathe out, make this sound. Okay, I'll tell you the science behind it. So now, before we do that, repeat this E. So double E, right? E. See how you feel. Ah, ah. We say ah, ah. How you feel? And now the king, NG. Even listening to it would help, but anyways, try to do it yourself. If you do this for 5 to 15 minutes, okay, it is enough or equivalent to 6 hours of sleep. 15 minutes, not 5 minutes. 15 minutes is equivalent to 6 hours of sleep. Don't believe me, try it out, okay? Why this happens is because this is the frequency of the brain cells. And when you do this, your brain gets synchronized and the brain cells get activated. And not only that, if you know a little bit of brain science, your brain gets more connected. So it also helps in becoming creative. So if you want to be creative, just do this for 15 minutes every day, and it will change your brain. Okay, it will really make you creative. Not only creative, you'll also be relaxed. Okay, so I don't want you to do it for 5 minutes now, but I hope you get it to try doing it whenever you get time. It's as simple as that. It will give you a caffeine kick if you want to, or better than caffeine also. So what we've done is when you do the heart rate variability measurements doing this, it actually becomes more coherent. Your brain and your body becomes more coherent. Just let me tell you what heart rate variability is. The interbeat, so between two beats of the heart, the interval, that should be, if you are normal and healthy, should be varying, should not be the same. The more the variation between the two beats of the heart, the better your health is. Okay, so when you do this, it will increase your heart rate variability, which will lead to what is called better coherence. Coherence between your sympathetic and parasympathetic, the system that makes you agitated and the system that calms you down. So basically what happens is you'll calm down, and it is a good overall tonic for your brain. So especially people who have history of in the family of Alzheimer's or any brain related diseases and all that, if you do this Brahmari half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour every day, you would be protected from Alzheimer's or any such dementia kind of problems. And your memory would also increase and many other things. You just don't believe me, try it out. Okay.
You do the NG, and what's the other thing?
The other thing is dancing, I told you, right?
No, when you were doing the NG, then there's another noise you made.
Oh, I just made NG. The E and all that I just showing you. So when you were doing E, what happened? Yeah. You became more stressed. When you said ah, it was relaxing. Okay. Now, NG is not like E, is not like ah, but it is something else, but it activates your brain. I just wanted to show you the difference in the sound. So sounds also affect our brains. Sounds also affect our brains. And therefore, if you don't like dancing, you can start playing a musical instrument also. That will also change your brain. So do something with sound. That will also help. So either move your body or vibrations, create vibrations. Okay. Satya wanted to say something?
Dr. Mehta, I dance with my dogs. When I start shaking, like I got 3 dogs, they start, one chases his tail. And then I got baby Sadie, she'll jump and lick my face. And the little black dog will just go under the couch. It's so funny because you just get in a positive mood. Whoever that person was eating the pickles, I was laughing so hard just earlier in this seminar. I don't know who that person is.
That was the troll that made really loud noises right after that. So I don't think it was really a person eating pickles, or maybe it was a video of someone eating pickles, but it was not kosher. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
I got it. But I love the music, and that's all I wanted to say. I love your ideas.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make life simple for you. So if you play music regularly, if you dance regularly, if you move your bodies regularly, if you listen to vibrations regularly, what will happen is your brains would get wired for positivity. Then no matter how much anybody thinks negative about you or whatever, you'll not get affected by it. And then the very important thing, I can handle. I am a creative person. I can draw. I can do whatever it is that you want to achieve. If you get that state in the mind, I just showed you mind over matter, your life would become more and more positive. Okay. And when I'm talking positivity, I can't, coming from India, miss one thing. You know what? We talk of spirituality, right? So if you don't believe in anything, God or whatever, but it is a psychological construct, because what is the concept of God? It's all positive, all powerful, all knowing, everything, all positives, right? So whenever your brain connects to something which is all positive, all good, all powerful, etc., it lingers onto you. It actually precipitates on you. That means that there is some science to having that concept of God also. Okay, nothing wrong with it. If you don't like God, don't worry about it. But at least we have a concept of all powerful, or whatever you can, it will be a superhero, whatever you believe in. Okay. The moment you believe in that, and the moment you get connected to that, you will actually feel good, because you are now connecting to a source of positivity. And since it is larger than life, therefore that source of positivity is much more than any normal human source of positivity, right? So that can also help. That's one more way of helping yourselves, okay, to feel positive and be connected to positive. So what they say is, whenever you feel negative, connect. Try to make a connection with whatever you believe, whatever your concept of God or powerful or hero, or whatever it is, you would become positive. Your brain would connect to positivity.
So Dr. Mehta, what happens if you've reevaluated your whole life over the past year or two, and you found out that a lot of things that you were led to believe, or you thought were like that they were even better than you thought, but you thought you were led to believe they were a certain way, and then it's like all these things are like, oh, that didn't happen. So what happens? Does it matter if you reinterpret your past to overcome what's happening in the moment, or no?
Yes, so that's another coping mechanism. So when you reinterpret the past, see, while you are going through it, you always feel negative about it. But after it has become past, and after you've learned more from the experience, you mostly think that that experience has made you positive and stronger and so on and so forth. Mostly, right? Very rarely some events would actually. So even negative things like somebody's death initially would be painful, but after a point you feel that it has made you stronger. So in hindsight, mostly you'll always find that there is nothing negative about anything. It's just how we perceive it. And while it is happening, we mostly perceive it negatively. But in hindsight, most likely, most of us perceive it as having some positive influence on us.
So,
analyzing your life and thinking positively about it, or thinking how it will help you, can also help you remain positive.
Then Dr. Mehta, and I don't mean to pick up, but related to that, what I've found is all I can control is what I can do. So I've been taking corrective action, sending checks, giving to charities, and really changing to model what I've learned. Because I realize that's all I can do. I've realized the only thing I can do is anything I have control. So I found that the awareness has been liberating because I can extend the grace I've been shown by having a deeper awareness to where I can take corrective action. I don't know if all of you, what you think of Dr. Mehta, like in other words, if you have an awareness that you can take a corrective measure or a tone or something, is it important to do that, or you just, the past is done, so I'm going to liberate myself and not worry about it?
No, it is important to be aware, and any problem, becoming aware of a problem or becoming aware of something is half solving it, according to science. Okay, the rest half is just the rituals that you'll have to do to overcome that. But otherwise, becoming aware is important. So awareness helps, and that is why they say, and that's another thing that I wanted to bring in meditation, right? What meditation does is keeps you aware all the time. I would put a question to you. If you've seen pictures of Indian so-called yogis and all that, they wear drapes. I'm sorry, Satya, but I've been looking at you, so you are wearing a drape, right? Yeah. And what does a drape do? Any idea? Why do they wear drapes? What it does when you're wearing a drape?
I find you feel safe or protected.
Yes. Yeah. It kind of covers you, feels you warm. But another very important thing happens when we are wearing a fixed cloth, a stitched cloth. What happens is the touch on our body is constant. And for the brain, anything that is constantly touching, it shuts off. That signal is switched off. But if you're wearing something that is drapey, it always will tend to move, fall off and so on and so forth. So you continuously keep on doing it. And the touch that you get when you are wearing a drape is not continuous, it's random touch. So when there is random touch, you'll become more aware, and therefore it will help you remain more aware as compared to a stitched cloth. Okay. And I was noticing, right? You were trying to, so it keeps you more aware. Yes. Yeah, it keeps you more aware. It gives you a good feeling, right? Snuggy, kind of hugged all over and so on and so forth. So that's another thing. Of course, if you can hug the real person, fine, but otherwise clothes will also do, right? It actually helps you because of that random touch. It keeps you, so therefore wearing dresses which gives you random touch will keep you more alert and aware, and therefore more aware of what's happening, and therefore more positive, because you'll remember that you have to be positive, right?
Dr. Mehta, can I, related to that, what I found out, and I'm sorry,
yes, please.
I've noticed that by elevating the standards of dress, like looking at the leaders in the workplace, right? People, you project a confidence, like spending a little more appearance, right? The skincare, spending, and like this jacket right here, I got this lovely jacket, and I've upgraded my clothing from Walmart. Not that anything was wrong with Walmart or TJ Maxx, but it almost feels like I'm stepping into a more positive, like this is serious. Like I feel like I'm projecting more confidence. I start dressing like the more positive people, where everybody's positive, and you can't help but be that way. And you hold yourself like other people are talking, or such as with that cozy blanket, and it just feels empowering. So I love that you said that.
Yes. So yes, so it's about feeling good, right? So the most important thing is how well you do whatever you do to make yourself feel good. So if you're in positive mood, definitely positivity is what you're going to project, right? So feeling good about yourself, so good skincare, good healthcare, good clothing, all will lead you to positivity, to feel good, right? So actually we dress up ideally to feel good. And when you feel good, you will project that. So posture is important, smile is important, all these things matter, right? It will keep you more positive. Anything that keeps you more positive will keep you positive, right? So yes, it helps, right? Short answer.
You know, Dr. Mehta, if I could say also one thing I noticed, I heard somebody on YouTube say 2 years ago, she said, there was this idea that people can notice that you change, and a therapist said, I saw on YouTube, he says, you can see people into the change, and I kind of agree. What I noticed is people were settling for where I was and making concessions, or not confronting me on certain behavior that I had blind spots of. And as soon as I started going where they are, or look at what the heck are they talking about, what people are talking about, you take the blinders off. For me, that has been huge. It's like being in some eagle's nest. I'm still going there, but I'm like, oh, I could work on this, and I become more action-oriented. I still enjoy the being. I don't know if anyone's noticed this. And I'm like, oh, I can do the work. You talked about the quality work, and that's what you just see what you need to do. And if I want to be somewhere, and then I noticed that influence. Anyway, I'll be quiet because I know you gotta.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it works, right? So good. You're just proving what I'm saying, right? So yes, try to feel good. Try to dress up, whatever all that makes you feel good, and therefore posture, dress, etc. helps. And I'll tell you one more thing: the texture of your clothing also matters. If it is rough texture, yeah, it will be something else. If it is smooth, okay, furry structure, texture, it will also make you feel even better, and so on. So texture also matters. And you would see that especially people who are rough and tough wear more rough and tough clothes, more heavily textured clothes, and therefore you see them like that, okay? But when you're really wanting to feel good and cozy and all that, you actually like something which is soft and smooth, right? So whenever you are feeling depressed or negative or something, try to cover yourself with something that is soft and smooth. And again, that will change your mood. So I've given you a lot of tools. Okay. And I think we are left at around very little time. So last thing that I want to tell is there's a lot of research going on, especially in neuroscience, about meditation, right? Now, meditation is not a cup of tea for everyone. But what you need to do is just try to observe anything, be it a flower, be it music, or be it whatever, with as much attention as possible, as much awareness as possible. And that's good enough to begin with in meditation. Maybe we'll have some other session on meditation if you are interested, because it is a big thing to explain what meditation.
Let's do that, Dr. Krishnesh. I think that's a great topic.
Yeah, we'll do that. But right now, I'll just say that meditation also helps. And a lot of research has shown. So what has been found, so there's been study done by UCLA and some other universities, which has shown that if you meditate regularly, actually it changes your expression of genes. So the disease causing expression of the genes reduces by about 27% in those people. Not only that, you age less. Your brain aging reduces. Okay, you'll go younger when you meditate. Your skin would become better. And there's something called telomeres. So telomeres, if you know chromosomes have a cap kind of a thing. And our cells get replicated every 7 months, mostly, except brain and heart cells and all, but most cells get replicated. So it's a replication error which causes cancer and so on and so forth. So if your telomeres are long enough, the replication error is less. And the longer the telomeres, the better your life length as well as quality of life. So meditation increases the length of your telomeres, or basically it releases a chemical called telomerase. I don't want to go into technical, maybe when we talk of meditation, we'll get into that. But I just wanted to end with this, that meditation also, if you meditate regularly, even half an hour meditation or 15 minutes of meditation, or if you like the sound thing that we did, so Brahmari 15 or half an hour is also a good meditation. You try to listen to yourself, that is also meditation, right? Or if you want, you can introduce a sound which has more scientifically studied by the Germans. So it's called Om. Okay, Om. There's nothing religious about it, but that sound, as if you were to do what is called a cybernetic study of it, you will find that it gives you concentric circles. So it gives you a frequency for the whole body. Om has sounds which connect to the frequencies of every cell of your body. Therefore, if you do Om or Brahmari or do 15 minutes of each, it will also keep you positive for a day. It's like basically what has been found is when you do Om, it reduces your amygdala or the animal part of your brain. It reduces the functioning of the animal part of your brain. So you become more relaxed, more caring, less fearful, and so on, for less anxious and so on, less depressed also. And when we talk of meditation, I'll teach you one more technique which will remove depression just by doing that technique. It will take time. That's why I'm not going to show it here, but I promise we'll do it again. Okay. And I hope it was useful. So we have 5 minutes. Any questions or something? Garrett, I hope I'm doing good on time.
You're doing great. I do want to spend a couple of minutes to try to do the give and get if people are open to it, but let's do a few minutes of questions.
Yes, Satya has a question, I guess.
Yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
Yes, Satya.
I was wondering if you can repeat what you just said. My computer kind of lagged a little bit.
Can I repeat what? Last part?
Yeah, you said there's a way to lower depression, and I didn't hear that part.
Oh, I didn't. I just said there's a technique for overcoming. See, basically what happens, there's something called vagus nerve, which connects all the organs from below the neck to the brain. So you have to activate that vagus nerve. So there are techniques for that. If you can do that, it will remove depression instantly. Instantly means in a short time. Okay. But even Om and Brahmari that we did will remove depression if you do this for 15 minutes to half an hour every day. Not only that, it will keep you positive. Your brain cells being fired up, caffeinated if you call it, you would feel good the whole day. So ideally do this first thing in the morning or maybe before sleep, or do it 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, which however it supports. And you can do it, and I'll make it even simpler for you. You did not say it. You can just record your voice and listen to it. That's also good enough. It will work as much. Okay, so you just have to say it once and then record it and play the recording. Okay, don't do it when you are driving or something. Otherwise, you can fall asleep or something. But otherwise, you can do it. So by doing anything else, you can do this. It actually, so they did this study. They played these sounds on cows in India, and it's there in the Guinness Book of World Records. So these cows give more milk when you listen to this sound. So basically, it affects physiologically also. Not only milk, but other things also. So basically, our brains will get kind of refreshed, wired up when you do this. And you see, thinking, feeling gratitude and all this is good, but it's not always possible. When you're really in the low of negativity, it's not possible for you to feel gratitude and something like that. But if you do these techniques regularly or start dancing for that moment, okay, half an hour dancing when you are really low and all that, you'll see how it changes your thought processes, and you'll see that you are free from negativity. Yeah. Any other question?
I heard if you walk and you like kind of concentrate on nature, like birds and stuff, and you kind of like, I don't know, the person was telling me, just give love to the birds and get it back from that. Like, you can just kind of connect with nature, that will help. That's kind of a meditation.
Yes, walking with awareness. So all that is meditation, right? I that's why I want to, a lot of people think meditation only when you sit with your eyes closed. No, it can be walking meditation also. It can be wherever you are with awareness, interacting with the surrounding, with full awareness. Okay. So anything, listening to music, nature, walking, etc., whatever. Okay, swimming, any physical activity. It's actually important. But why I say dancing is because it will make your body move more. In walking, only certain parts of your body move. In dancing, probably more of your body parts will move, and that is important. Fine. Any more questions? I hope it was useful.
I loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah, lots of great feedback in the comments as well, Dr. Krishnesh, Dr. Mehta. Sorry, I'm used to calling you Krishnesh. So if you don't mind, if there are no other questions, I'll do a quick intro to the online community so that people can stay in touch between now and next week.
Yeah, please, I'm done. So thank you very much for joining, and be positive.
Agreed. Take all that negativity and turn it into positivity. If enough of us do it, the world will be a much more positive place.
Yes.
So I just want to give a quick introduction to the online community, and we probably don't have time for the give and get now, but you know, maybe we can do it offline if people are open to doing that. But basically, when you follow the link that I put in the chat, you'll go to an app called Discord, which is the software we use for the online community. And once you're in Discord, there's it's a little bit different on the mobile phone. It's a little less user friendly, but on the desktop, this is the community with the little thinker. I'm in a bunch of communities, but on the left here, you have different topics. And so this is where people come in, they're, you know, kind of, it shows that, you know, Maddie and Satya joined, and then introduce yourself is where you can introduce yourself to the community so that people can know who you are. And then over here on the left, we have different topics. There's the rules of the community, which is really just be polite, and everything else is fair game. And then there's a little more to it than that, but that's, if you stick with that, you'll be fine. And then, you know, how to get involved with the Freethinker Institute, which is my not-for-profit, which this lecture is a part of the series of, you know, discussions and lectures that we do. And then, you know, you have different topics here, casual chat. If, you know, I do professional networking in the community as well. So if you have an organization, you can introduce your company. And then there are different professional channels, and then there are different sort of intellectual channels. And so philosophy, science, history, MBTI, if someone wants a new channel, I can add them very easily, or a moderator can. Yeah, I would love to stay in touch with people here. Also want to announce that next week's session, which is not yet on the charts, is going to be about critical thinking and sort of how to develop our critical thinking skills. And we'll do what I think is going to be a fascinating exercise, which is we're going to take something in the news, and then we're going to take left-wing news, right-wing news, and centrist news, and look for all the facts that each one of them present, and, you know, fact check them, and then so we're going to fact check them and then see what are the actual facts, and then sort of use our judgment to discern, you know, what the actual superset of real facts are, and then what conclusions did the articles come to, what conclusions did we come to. And so it should be really fascinating. I've done this as an exercise myself, and I found it very eye-opening, and I think it'll help us, you know, practice our critical thinking skills and get better at how to process media in a world where the truth is often in question, and who has the truth and what is the truth is often, you know, a very complicated and not as easy to answer topic as it was maybe 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. So hopefully that will be helpful. I would love people to join again next week for that. And Dr. Mehta, if you're open to it, maybe you can do meditation the week after that. Does that sound like a...
Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
Cool. All right, so the last thing I'll show is this spreadsheet is where you know, I put things that I can give to people, and then things that I would like from people. And I'm going to post this in here again. And if people are open to doing it, maybe we can do it offline. And just, you know, anything that you have to offer the community, feel free to offer, and anything that you're looking for from the community, feel free to ask. And then just check in a couple of days later and see if there's anyone that signed up for the things that you put up there, and anything that you want to sign up for. And you can go under tools, notification rules, and be notified when I'm actually going to do it, when a change is made with the daily digest. And that will tell you when new updates are made to the sheet. So you can see if someone signed up to one of your things, or if you, you know, or vice versa. So yeah, and I would love feedback on this. I think it would be a nice way to sort of share our skills and experiences with each other, and sort of help form the community that, you know, I envision the Freethinker Institute becoming, which is a community that where we all support each other and being the best version of ourselves. So would love everybody's help and cooperation with that. I'll put this in the chat again. I just want to thank Dr. Krishnesh again, or Dr. Mehta, for presenting again. Really interesting presentation. And thanks everybody for attending and for coming this evening.